My name is Thierry Guiderdoni. I'm a stager for the Foresight Productions, and I'm staging ballets from him around the world. The full artifact was done to investigate and extend the boundaries of classical ballets and how a formal show is presented. So he tried to actually break rules. So Artifact 2 is the second act of a full-length ballet. So the evening is called Artifact, but we name it Artifact 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we realized that it was interesting to actually take out the second act to be able to present the two duos that are, I think, as one act, very interesting to perform. So we have two couples, so two men, two women, as main dancers, but we have 26 dancers from the company. They're not doing much, but they are there in numbers, very important numbers, because they have a very special task of taking signs from a character called the Mud Woman. While the two couples are dancing, we have that woman that feels like a conductor, and she's signing the room, and all the dancers involved are copying her. Either they mirror her or they do the same. He decided to have 7 scenes in one act. Probably a little bit to disturb the public, like they think it's finished, but it's actually not, yeah? So it's like a constant overlapping scenes, like every scene have a beginning that you don't see and the end that you don't see. And then when the curtain goes down, then another scene starts and then finishes again. So, and then he played with that, like something unconventional. He loves the classical technique, but he finds them maybe it's written in an old-fashioned way. So he was trying to, as well, like I said before, to find, to extend the technique so the technique could go further, break, extend the lines, almost fall. He was trying to push the limits of a formal way of interpreting classical technique. Mr. Forsyth doesn't like to have music played live because he's very exact with the tempo of the steps. And, you know, as an artist, probably you should respect the person that plays live and plays his own tempo and his own feeling. So for that reason, as respect to the player, and then as respect to the dancers that still need to be very exact musically, he only uses tape performances. He likes the interpretation of the person he's choosing, yes. Especially this piece of music is very difficult because it's Bach, and Bach doesn't have a regular rhythm. His partition is like singing. As a singing, you have longer rhythm and shorter rhythm, and it is extremely difficult musically. And sometimes I spend half hour, like just have the dancers standing in the room and listen to the music and sing it along, and then kind of, we say marking, so not do full out the steps, but really kind of like first listen to the music and then move along. It is a very hard piece of music to dance on, definitely. The way the couples interfere with each other is full of counterpoint. They really kind of like separate, come in, separate, and then readjust. It's full of counterpoints. Definitely, that probably has a connection with in that sense, but it is physical with the dancers, and it is, how do you say, sensorial with the music. Whatever it is divided off, I know that musicality and tempi-wise, phrasing-wise, with the choreography, is a total match with whatever it's playing. Like there is a real listening of the music and the singing. It is. Everything comes from a classical ballet. Can I demonstrate whether you do this? This is a more angular placement as this. So everything is related to classical ballet, but at the same time it's like inventing a way of communicating, inventing a language that has no sound. Because I think in '84, we're talking about, 40 years ago. Yeah, it's almost like half a century. I think the mentality of the public were different because of breaking the rules of how a performance is presented or how classical technique is interpreted. Between '84 and then the year 2000, like the mentalities had an evolution, and then of course mind opened up to be able to register something different. As a dancer, I was doing what I like to do. I personalized my dancing to what I learned. And then when I stage, actually I have much more possibilities because I've seen a lot of people dance, not only my colleagues, my ex-colleagues, but other companies. And through the experience of having to face different personalities, I'm able to give the dancers much more choices of how to develop, because it's not only about dancing, it's about like showing your own qualities as a dancer. So I'm able to free up the dancer in front of me more than when I used to be a dancer. So in a way, I feel much more free now than as I used to be as a dancer. First time working with the dancers here in the company, it has been a pleasure, really. Since it's the first time they do four-side ballet, I think they were very curious, very hungry of wanting to know, and I think surprised that it's not as easy as it is at the beginning, but then if they release into the information I'm giving them, it's actually easier than what they think it was, not as difficult. But they need to kind of like release into the technique. Sometimes when you go off balance, you need force, but you realize that actually just releasing off balance is easier and makes the step easier to interpret and to do. And because you have a very good technique, you have space relationship, because the technique of the classical technique is so much has to do with directions. So because you have all those awareness, you're able to tell them, okay, this point needs to be over there. You need to experiment how far that movement can go, or is that direction enough? Can you go further in that direction? And from this direction, can you go, how do you want to go to the other direction? So because they are good technical dancers, they have a very good awareness of the room and they understand what I'm asking. So that's why I think it's important for William Forsythe to have, good classical dancers, so that the discipline of the body is there. I think they shouldn't expect anything when they come. They should let emotion come to them. They shouldn't expect something for what they see, but let whatever is on stage come to them, and then they should feel things. Come and enjoy it, and see your Korean fellas' first introduction to William Forsythe's choreography. They're doing really well. They're doing a good job, so they should come and just enjoy it. Yes.